I've talked about FGM and not a lot of people knew about it.
And that must have been really, really hard to stand up on that stage in front of thousands of people who you don't know.
I would never like speak about it. Like say if I was getting to know someone, it's not something that I would share with them unless I become very close with them and like I'm like, oh yeah, this is like my person and I can talk about it. He was somebody that never judged me. He never looked at me any different, even when I shared, you know, my story with him. So that's when I knew like he was definitely the right person in my life, yeah. Someone that I can confide in, someone, you know, that I can trust.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Injectable Insiders. We have the lovely Zaynab with us today.
Hi. I feel like at first I'm like, yeah, now why am I getting shy?
Yeah. You've done this plenty of times.
I know. That's what I'm like, get it together.
No, you'll be fine. So just for the viewers, you have recently been doing beauty pageants.
Yeah.
How many have you done so far? 2?
Just 2, yeah. So the first pageant that I did was Miss Global Somali. That was my first ever pageant. It was a little bit like I was very scared. I didn't know what to expect. And then I knew, but the dream was always to go for Miss World. And like, I felt like I told myself like, within the next 3 years, like I really want to achieve that goal. So I'm like, I'm giving myself a little bit more credit. Like I'm like, I've done it this year. So it's like, now I feel like I've accomplished what I really wanted to do in life, which was really just to go for that title because I knew there was like a bigger purpose behind it.
Of course. And did you basically, like you've just said, you basically manifested that from a young age?
Manifested it, yeah.
So from a young age, was you always into modelling, or how did you fall into modelling?
I've always like loved taking pictures. I've always loved interacting with people. I always knew that I wanted to get into like the humanitarian world, but then I always like wanted to just combine the both, like beauty and like beauty with a purpose. And then that's when I grew up, like when I first actually came to the UK, I remember like I used to watch Miss World, but I couldn't speak a word of English.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I just like, oh my God, like the prettiest one is gonna get crowned. But then like as I grew up, I realized that it wasn't like the pretty woman that got crowned. It was like the woman with like, you know, that had beauty with a purpose who was crowned. And then when I found out like the real meaning behind Miss World, that's when I was like, oh, one day I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. And then it just, ever since, it really became like a passion of mine. Like I used to tell everybody in school and then they would laugh. And then I'm like, oh, okay, now I've got a bigger reason.
No, of course. And like looking back now, people must be thinking, oh my God, like she actually did it.
Yeah, but literally, like I recently, like on my birthday, we managed to reunite with like a few friends from mine, like back in school, like in high school, and like catching up with them, they were like, oh my gosh, like Zaynab, like it's crazy. Like I remember you talking about it and saying, oh, you was actually gonna do it, and the fact that you actually did it and you didn't stop, like it's, to them it was just like, wow, like
it's really motivating.
Yeah,
because a lot of people talk and there's no action behind it.
Or at some point in their life, they're like, that dream that they had from a young age, like they let it go. They're like, oh, I'm grown up now, there's no point, like, you know, chasing that dream that I had when I was younger. But I feel like you should always chase it. If you had a dream when you was younger, just keep going until you get it, because like the younger version of you would be so proud and be like, oh wow, like I've accomplished what I dreamed.
So coming from a Somali background, is that correct?
Yeah.
How was your parents towards like you going into modelling? Was it a taboo subject, or was it a bit like, was your mom supportive? How did you find that?
At first, I think they were a bit confused, but my mom, like I remember when I was first crowned Miss Somalia, she was like the most, like probably the most supportive person like that I've had in my life. And then my dad was always a bit iffy about it, but then I feel like as like my mom explained it to him, he kind of understood, and he was very supportive as well. So I'm like, I've always said it, like I feel like I'm so grateful, like I'm so privileged to have like such a supportive family, like, and they've cultivated like resilience and strength from like a young age, and then to them like kind of supporting my dreams and like not judging me and like not telling me, oh, what you're doing is wrong. Like I've always like felt so grateful for that. So my parents, especially my mom's very supportive. Like that's my number one fan.
That's amazing, because obviously you come from a Muslim household too. Yeah. So I gather online you get hate comments sometimes. You get them sometimes, people that are keyboard
like,
warriors.
You know, people who just don't have nice things to say. Like I feel like every person like in this world has like had some sort of like flashbacks from other people, or like they'd tell them, oh, like, you know, just hateful comments. I feel like everybody gets it, and
no,
it's so normal.
It's like, even with us, like being on a public platform now, this is completely new to us. You're going to get people that are going to pick up on things, like you're going to get that odd negative comment, but that thrives, like that gives you views, babe. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like it's never bothered me. Like I've never paid attention to the negative comments. I feel like if I pay if I pay the attention to those negative comments, it doesn't mean anything to me. My life still goes on. Like 100%. Nothing changes. So I just don't see the point. Like I'd rather just move forward. If I delete comments, if I see negative comments, I'll delete it, block it, and then just
move forward from it. Which is a really good attitude. I
wouldn't sit and then think about what they've said. Like I'm like, no, I'm confident enough within myself. Like I don't need to like listen to any hateful comments.
Yeah, of course. So, moving on, what do you find's been like the biggest struggle within like let's say becoming an influencer, becoming a model, being in the public eye, these beauty pageants? Talk to us about things that we don't see behind the scenes with the beauty pageants. Like,
I think like especially being at Miss World, I feel like every girl that was sent from their country, like the real like results for them was like, oh, we need to win, like that was everybody's like goal, like just to win. But then when I was there, like I remember like thinking, I'm like, why am I here? Like what is my reason, what is my purpose? Like sometimes like life is not about winning. Like sometimes it's all about just like making friends, making a difference in the world. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to win the crown to like feel like, oh, you're a winner. Like either ways, if you change one person's life or if you empower one person, I feel like you're already a winner. And I've always said it in the beauty pageant world, you don't need a crown like to define you, or you don't need a crown to be a queen. Like you should already believe that. You don't, like before I even became Miss World, I had to tell myself like I'm already that queen, so whether I get the crown or not, that's still gonna just a bonus. But it's like, it's my attitude, it's my character, it's the way I treat people and what I do in my life every day that makes the world a better place. Like I know I can't change the world, but what is it that I do every day?
Yeah, of course.
And that's it. Like it's like when I was there, I was like, yeah. And that's what I noticed about the beauty pageant. Like it's just win. You have to go back and win that crown for your country. And I'm like, no, not all the time.
But do you know what? I think it's for you, it's more of an achievement because you manifested this lifestyle for yourself.
Yeah.
The crown for you was actually being the representative for Miss World for Somalia. Yeah. That was your winning already. So like you said, just getting that crown would have been the bonus. Yeah. But that doesn't represent you or...
Literally, like I've had a lot of people come up to me and like when I ask them like, oh, have you watched the Miss World this year? They're like, yeah. And a lot of people have told me like, I feel like the highlight of what I watched from Miss World this year was definitely your story. Like I felt like when I went on Miss World and I was like my authentic self and I shared my Beat with a Purpose project, I feel like my project alone, it inspired a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I've talked about FGM and not a lot of people knew about it. So I feel like the fact that I've shared a story and I've shared my Beauty to the Purpose project and it changed and it it went quite viral and a lot of people were talking about it, and I went there to raise awareness and for people to talk about it, for people to come together and make a change. So I feel like that, it being the highlight of Miss World, I feel like I didn't need that crown. Like, no, I feel like I've already accomplished what I came to do.
Yeah, of course. And that must have been really, really hard to stand up on that stage in front of thousands of people who you don't know.
I was like, I won. I don't care whether the crown comes or not. Like, but I just felt like a winner. I was like, you know what? I shared a story that I felt like I was holding back for so many years, but I chose to speak because I knew that the picture was way bigger than me. It was, I felt like I was speaking for so many young girls who also have the same trauma as me, and some of them don't have the courage to speak about it. So I'm like, I've built that courage for so many years, and I don't have anything to lose. I care about those young lives. I care about those girls. I want them to live life to the fullest and chase their dreams, rather than where they're facing things like FGM and their whole life. Some of them will probably not make it alive. So it's why not just speak about it and help people and raise awareness. So it
took a lot of courage. It took a lot of courage, but like you said, it's very powerful. There's a message behind it. It was to inspire. It was for people to stand up and say, do you know what, I've suffered that. I've been a survivor of that. So for the viewers that don't know, if you don't mind me asking, what is FGM?
So FGM, it stands for female genital mutilation, and it's a like a violation against human rights, especially women. And it's not like, I wouldn't say it's a cultural issue. It's a global issue. It's something that happens all around the world. People just don't talk about it. You know, it mainly happens in Africa, but it happens in every continent. Like when I did my research and when I started my foundation, I even found out that it happens in South America. It also happens in the Middle East. But because people don't talk about it and it's just like silence,
There's no awareness around
there's no
it.
awareness.
Yeah.
So when people find out about it and say, oh, wow, like things like this are happening to women and nobody's talking about it, they get quite shocked. But it's just, you know, it's really upsetting because I feel like it's something that was supposed to like just put women down. Like it's supposed to kill women in like a way where they just don't, like they feel like the whole purpose behind it is for a girl to be cut so that she's pure. But I never understood like why does a 7-year-old needs to be cut for her to become pure? She's already a child, you know. And obviously a lot of countries, they like to use religion as an excuse, which it's not right, because religion doesn't condone it. Religion doesn't tell you that, oh, FGM should happen because Allah says.
Yeah. In these countries around the world, it's very much normalized. So when it's happening and when you see somebody else, like your cousin or your friend or somebody else in that area having it done, you think it's the norm, because that's what culture, or that's what you've been brought up to think, when in actual fact it's not. But that was so brave of you to talk about it.
And they do it like from the age of like 5 to like I think 10, and it's like when you're a child, you don't have strength, you don't have power. So in a way it's like, why? It's just a child. There's no need to do anything like that, whether it's to make them pure or not. But they're just a child who don't like, that doesn't have the strength to be able to fight you back and like, you know, do anything. It's just really, really sad, to be honest.
And was it really, I know obviously it was, like we said, it took you a lot to speak about it, and we've seen you get emotional, and that's absolutely normal, like you've got emotion. Did you feel like that was just like a weight lifted off your shoulder because you've spoke it out and you've said your story and it's something you've been holding back for so long? Or
Definitely, yeah, I would say so. Like I feel like it's like when I was talking about it, even sometimes when I still talk about it, like I feel like I'm still healing. I'm still like every day, like I try to like, you know, find a new way where I can just like, you know, put the past, but then I'm like, I can't really do that. I even went to therapist, like obviously that didn't work for me, but I feel like what I'm doing now, it's definitely a part of my healing. When I started my foundation, that was a part of my healing. Going to Miss World and even like educating the world and sharing my story, I felt like that definitely healed me in a way as well, because I feel like I realized as I grew up, the only thing that can actually heal me is if I try to make a change, if I try to speak about it, if I try and save, you know, so many more young girls, then I feel like then I could definitely be healed.
So I know obviously, like I don't know too much about FGM. We're taught it because obviously I come from a nursing background. We're taught it because of safeguarding issues. If we get patients that come in, we need to know how to like raise awareness and look out for things that have happened. And like you said, it is very prominent in African continents too, but around the world too, like you said, the Middle East and other places. And from my understanding, there's different types. So I think there's 4 different types.
3 or 4, I think 4,
4 different types, I think it is. And what I mean by different types is in each type there's a different type of mutilation. So it's partial, complete, it's different.
There's different types. I think obviously the 4th type is where a lot of them don't make it alive, like not a lot of them. Like I remember when I was doing my Beauty with a Purpose project, and I partnered up with this foundation, and we was interviewing a little girl called Firdaus and Ifrah, and when we talked about their story and we tried to share it, and like I wanted their story to be a part of my Beauty the Purpose project, like it was really, really sad. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. Like it brings back so many triggers and trauma for myself, because they die, especially one of them. She was only like 9 years old, and it happened. Her parents, you know, gave permission, and then she was just kept on bleeding, and then there was like, oh, I don't think the blood is stopping. So on her way to the hospital, she had passed away. Like she just bled to death, and that's what happens to a lot of them. Like once it's done, either you bleed to death, or like there's not enough, like there's just not enough hole for like for you to urinate, or for even like blood to pass through, which is, you know, obviously called infibulation, and then that's it. Like a lot of them don't make it alive, and there's no health benefit.
Even you talking about it now, it's giving me goosebumps. Like honestly, like, you know how you said obviously now you're an advocate for people that have suffered with FGM, and you've started your own foundation and you're in partnership with other people to, you know, advocate on their behalf and speak up and get other people to speak up about what they've been through based on your own trauma and what you've experienced. But even just talking about it like now, like
It does.
It like, really hits hard with you, because you think they're children, they're kids, like, and yeah, I think I'm getting a bit emotional now.
Yeah,
but
it's like they're just little girls. Like just imagine like going from playing outside and just being a child to then boom, you're in a dark room and you're bleeding, and it's like, oh, you don't know whether you're gonna make it alive or not. And then I felt like that's when my childhood came to an end, and from there on I felt like boom, I don't remember what else I became, but I no longer felt like a child. I felt like that's it, childhood is finished.
Do you feel comfortable talking about what happened to you, or would you rather not?
I don't mind. I feel like I've talked about it before, so it doesn't really, I feel like I can talk about it now.
Yeah.
But I remember with mine, it's like I was outside, I was playing with my friends, and I remember I was playing football. But
that's crazy. Sorry to interject. How you even remember that you was playing football?
I remember exactly like what I was wearing. I remember I was wearing I was wearing a blue Somali dira, and I had like shorts underneath my dira, and then I was outside just playing football with my friends. But 2 weeks before that, my sister was taken to a different city, and then I knew, I was like, where did she go? Like, why was she taken? And then I knew, because I kept on asking like my family around. I was like, where is she gone? Like, where has she been taken? It's like, oh, your grandma took her to a different city for holiday. Mm-hmm. But I knew. Mm-hmm. And then I knew, okay, well, it's going to be my turn soon, but I just don't know what day it will be. So this specific day, I was just playing. I didn't expect it. And then I remember these two like grown men. Like I used to see them around. They were family friends. And I remember just getting picked up by them. And then I'm like, where are you taking me? I'm like punching them. I'm like, where are you taking me? And then like, I just remember like my clothes being ripped off. And then I'm like pushed into a room where it's like just 3 women. And they were just sat there like on tools, and they had like blades, scissors. And then I was just like, wow, it's really that moment. And then I remember I was crying. I was like, oh, like screaming, crying, you know, anything that a child can do. And then like, I was like, yeah, there's literally nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to fight these 3 women. Like, and there was nobody that I knew, no familiar faces. Like my mom wasn't there. My sister wasn't there. My neighbors were not there, just nobody that I knew, just 3 strange women who, you know, didn't have no medical, like, they weren't doctors, you know, they didn't have no medical training. And then I remember, like, 2 of them one was holding my hand, the other one was holding my legs, and then the other one was performing the FGM. And then I remember, like, it was just silence, crying, just cutting, everything was just being done. And then I don't remember what happened after that. I just remember being cut, bleeding, you know, screaming. Then like I could just see the woman talking to me like, be brave, be proud, like just
because they're telling you this is normal.
Yeah, this is
like
normal.
Come on, like get it together, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then I remember just taken into, like, I was just in a room for like 2 weeks, and like my legs were like they had to be crossed, so like I couldn't sit, I couldn't like move around, so I was just kind of like laid down like this. And then I just like would just imagine just imagine you playing with your friends. So I'd just have like a charcoal next to me, and then I just to draw on the wall, and that was kind of like my little playtime. Yeah.
Oh my
God. I remember that day, I remember everything like so vivid, and it's like a day where I want to forget it, but I can't. Yeah, it's the only day that I can never forget. even though I
But
was
do you know
only
what? You are
7.
so brave. Like, even here today, speaking to me about it. Like, I know you as well, obviously,
Yeah.
like outside of podcast. And like, it makes me emotional, like thinking about it. Like, that obviously you've had to go from this. But seeing you sitting on the podcast now, like blooming, looking gorgeous. Like, honestly, as we walked into the room, I was like, oh my God, you look stunning. Like, it's just like a 360.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, obviously, like trauma, people are always going to have trauma, and people are always going to have that. You're always going to have that moment where you fall back and you think, why me, and why did that happen to me? But alhamdulillah, you're a survivor of it.
Yeah.
And you're here now to help other people, you know, to be open about it, to talk about it. Because like you said, a lot of girls that have suffered from it, they would never speak about it.
Never, yeah. In our culture, we're told not to speak about it. Like, when I was getting backlash, like, when I first spoke about it, like, it was backlash, but it was mainly from men. Men from like, in my culture, it's men. It's like, oh, don't talk about these things. Like, oh, like, why are you talking about it? Like, it's just like, it's not normalized, and you shouldn't be talking about it. You should be ashamed. And I'm like, I don't want to be ashamed. This is a tradition that kills people. Like,
this is reality. This is wrong.
Reality.
Do you know what I mean?
The humanity that we all speak like so much of, like, where is that when you're cutting a young girl and she could bleed to death, and then that's it, you know, her life could be over. Like, where is your humanity for that? So I'm like, I will keep talking about it, because what you're doing is wrong. And
of course.
I won't stop sharing my story, because I know me speaking up can, you know, like, save other lives. People can talk about it. Like, you know, people can, like, go around and, like, use their own initiative thoughts and, like, do their, like, you know, just go around and, like, and help kids, help people, and, like, raise awareness.
Because a lot of people are educated about it, to be honest. I mean, like, with me in the NHS, they do teach you because of safeguarding and what to look out for if we come across a patient that has, like I said earlier. But from the outside perspective, people just think that's your tradition, when it's not. It's not, and it's got nothing to do with religion. It's literally so wrong. And you know, like, people will be dealt with accordingly with God.
A lot of people think it's culture issue as well. That's like a lot of backlash that I also had, that people seem to think like, oh, it's just a culture issue, but it's not really a culture issue. It's a global issue, because they do it in so many different countries, and in those countries, some of them don't use it as a culture excuse. They just say, oh, something that you're supposed to do to women, like, you know. So that's when you know that it's not actually a culture issue. It's a global issue. It happens all around the world. Like, it's just same way when a woman gets assaulted. Like, this is no different. This is like, this leads to a young girl dying, you know. So it's really like, nothing.
It really is traumatic. But like I said, you've been so brave. I'm so grateful that, you know, you've spoke about your story, and you stood up on a stage and spoke about, like you said, it went viral, and you should never feel ashamed of talking about your story. And you know, inshallah, you will get through that in your own way and your own coping mechanism, and by helping people. I think that's just the most brave, like, to hear other people's stories, where you were saying about that young girl who on the way she passed away, that gave me like, I've got tears in my eyes, guys. Like, it's very emotional.
Young girl, like, she's literally died in front of her parents on the way to hospital, which is like
with the parents, right? Is it the fact that they're not educated enough, or is it pressure from the, I don't know, the village that they're in, or higher people? How does that come
I feel
about?
like it's just a tradition that was passed down through generations. And even like when people ask, but how are you going to make a change? And I feel like you can make a change by educating hearts. Like, I feel like education is the root of, like, for you to change anything in the world. I feel like it has to start off with education. So even like with my own mom, like, I felt like once I educated her heart, like, her opinion changed, the way she looked at it changed, and now, like, she doesn't think it's okay. She doesn't think, like, you know, like, she's like, yeah, what happened to you should have never happened to you. So it's like, all you need to do is just educate hearts, and people's, like, you know, minds,
opinions and mindset will change. Yeah, of course. And I think a lot of the time, you know, people, like I said, are pressured into doing things. I know you've got your own mind and you should know what's right and what's wrong, but in them circumstances back home, people are very much like, you would be the taboo if it didn't happen in your household. But then again, it's that relationship with your family. Like, do you grow up and then you resent your grandma, or you resent whoever, you know, the person that...
Instead, like, I think it's just best to just educate their hearts. Like, I feel like they don't know any better either, because it also happened to them and it happened to their mothers. So for them as well, it's just like, it's just a
Passed
cycle.
on. Yeah, of course. It's
that's
just this
that
vicious
keeps
cycle.
happening.
Yeah.
So all you can do is just, instead of like, you know, judging them and like not being able to forgive them, I think you should forgive them and just educate them, and then,
Of course.
you know, their hearts change, and then, you know, their opinions change, which is basically, you know, you've done your job. Like, that's the right thing.
No, I totally agree with you. So obviously, being a survivor of FGM, that obviously affects your life in so many different ways, especially relationships.
Yeah.
So especially as a woman, you know, you might feel a certain type of way because you feel like you've been violated in a certain place, and you feel like you're not going to be accepted by somebody else. So how has your life been in terms of relationships?
To be honest, I would never like speak about it. Like, say if I was getting to know someone, it's not something that I would share with them unless I become very close with them, and like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like my person and I can talk about it. And I knew that for me, when it came to like finding somebody that I'm comfortable with to be in a relationship or to be able to get married to them, I know that sharing something like that with them is was going to be very deep to me. So I knew that it had to be the right person, and like, I'm grateful. I feel like I did find that person, like, especially in this journey, and like, he understands it so much. He is very supportive, and every time, like, you know, I explain to him and I talk about it, he understands it. He doesn't agree with it, so he doesn't like look at me in any different way, whereas like when I was younger, like, that used to be like a fear of mine, like, how am I gonna find the love of my life one day, and then he's not going to look at me the wrong way, or he's not going to judge me, and he's not, you know, going to think, oh, I'm less of a woman, you know. And that was my biggest fear. But I'm grateful. Like, I feel like I found my person, and he understands me, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just grateful.
Really happy for you. But we've been seeing you recently. You've been going up and down. You're in Dubai. You're in India for obviously your pageant. Was you in the Philippines last year for your other pageant? So
this year. Yeah.
So you've been like traveling about.
Yeah.
So like, with this relationship, this person in your life, do you want to delve into like how you met and stuff like that, or not really?
It's actually been how many years? 2 years. So we we got, at first, like, I was like, I was not like looking for anyone in my life when he came into my life, but he said it from day one that like he really liked me and he wanted something serious with me. But I think I was at a point in my life where I wasn't looking for that. I was just so focused on like my life, and like I really wanted to just achieve that goal of like, oh, I wanted to be Miss World one day, Miss World Somalia one day. So he came like at the wrong time, and then I wasn't giving him the time or the attention. But then as I grew up, I genuinely felt very connected with him. Like, he was somebody that never judged me. He never looked at me any different, even when I shared, you know, my story with him. So that's when I knew like he was definitely the right person in my life. Someone that I can confide in, someone, you know, that I can trust, and like I feel like I can be honest with.
Of course.
And he was definitely that person, and that's when I knew, like, I feel like the grass is not always greener. Like, it's definitely not. And I feel like once you find your person and they're very respectful, you guys have the same morals and the same values, I think you should hold on to them.
Of course, because I feel like you know, people just get into relationships for the wrong reasons, and like, you need to think, this is going to be the father of my kids. Yeah, this is going to be the guy that I want to marry, because obviously you get to know this person with the intention of marriage. And do you feel like you found that with him?
Definitely, we're like very close to that. Like, it's something that we're definitely planning to do. I can definitely see like him being the father to my kids. I know like he'd be such a great father, and in general, like, he's just he's very family orientated, and he's just very respectful. Like, all my friends, in my sister, my family, like, everybody thinks
all your family met him.
Not my parents, but like my sister.
By the way, you're a twin, right?
Yeah. So my sister has met him. Okay. Majority of my friends have met him, and they all think he's very respectful. You know, he's just very, very sweet.
They've got the approval, like, basically.
He's very sweet.
He's got the approval.
He's like the opposite. He's the opposite of me. So it's like, we both just go
opposites attract. Yeah, but sometimes they do say that. They say opposites attract. Like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say that with Johnny. You've met Johnny Bravo. I feel like Johnny Bravo is like my twin, but in a male version. But like, honestly, I just think whatever makes you happy, and it's subhanAllah, it's so refreshing to hear that you found someone that potentially, you know, you're working towards marriage and stuff like that, that loves you for you, and obviously with what you've gone through, and to be supportive, because I feel like for a lot of males it can be quite intimidating if their woman is out there on a public platform, if she's a model, you know, if she's representing, you know, if she's the face of Miss World Somalia. Like, how did he find that balance? Did you ever come across obstacles, or is he quite understanding? And
he was very understanding. I think when we first started speaking, that's when I became Miss Global Somalia, and he was very intrigued. Like, he was just very interested. He was like, oh, like, you know, tell me more about it. And he really, like, he was just
empowered you.
Yeah, he was really empowered. So he didn't really have anything negative to say. And when I became Miss World Somalia at the time, like, me and him were not like that close. We weren't speaking as much. I felt like I was very busy with my own life. That's when we kind of like took a break. And he was kind of just like doing his own thing in life, and I was so focused on like preparing for Miss World Somalia, and I was like traveling and stuff. So we had like some time apart, but that time apart kind of like showed me, oh, like he's the only person that I really want in my life. And I remember I was actually like, it was the last week of the competition, and I was like, we was like in no contact, and I remember speaking to my roommate every night. I was like, I just have to have a conversation with him. I don't know what it is, but I need to have a conversation with this man. She's like, don't do it.
So what your friends like, oh no, let
So she knows. Tunisia, she was just like, don't do it. Don't message that man. I was like, no, like, I feel like, she was like, no, put your pride. Yeah. Like I'm like, no, like, honestly, I feel like I just need to have one conversation with him. I don't know what it is, even if it's like some sort of closure, but I just need to have a conversation with him. And then we had that conversation, and then we just couldn't stop speaking since then. I was like,
turned a 360.
And then and it was genuinely like the last 10 days, I think, of the competition, and that's when it becomes very like intense, and you know, like emotions are all over the place. So he was like, that's when I realized, oh, I think he's the person for me, because
he was your backbone.
He was, like, when I was stressed, I was like, oh my god, we're about to go on stage, like I would call him, and then I'd feel so much better. I'd feel a lot more calmer. I'm like, oh, like you know, I'm okay now. And that's when I realized, I was like, he's definitely the right person.
What's going on in your life? Like, do you have a big circle, like friends? How have you found that once you've got this fame now, let's say fame, and you know, you've become what you wanted to become, do you feel like people have all of a sudden wanted to know you because it benefits them? Or
so to be honest, like, I feel like my sister, she's always been like my best friend. Like, she was always my number one best friend, like my literally number one supporter. And whoever, like, I feel like other than like my Miss World sisters that I still like remain friends with, other than them, I feel like other than the girls and also the people that I went to school with, that I'm not like so close with. You know, you grow up and you just
of course, like
one another.
life evolves.
Yeah, I feel like I've never since made friends of my own.
Like had a bestie.
Yeah, like whereas like my sister she'd make friends, she'd have her close friends, and then they'd become my friends too. So we kind of like would share friends. So and if she falls out with them, that means I have to fall out with them too. But I've never had like my own friend, and like there was obviously this one specific girl that I became like, her and my sister were very close best friends, and then within time me and her became quite close too, because she was always around my sister. But I wouldn't specifically, if I could pick my own friends, she wouldn't be somebody that I would pick to be my friend. Like, we're not the same person. She's like, I wouldn't say she's not classy enough to be my friend, but she's just not like the type of like friends that I would pick.
She's not on your vibe.
She's she's not. And but I became friends with her because I knew like she meant a lot to my sister, and obviously I was always with my sister, which meant then I had to be around her all the time. But there was like so many, because I was always traveling, so I was never with them whenever they went out and whenever they went to like, you know, travel and do things. So my sister would always be like, oh, you know, like, these are the red flags I'm seeing. And then I'm like, but she seems like a genuine person. She seems very lovely, and she seems like a good friend to us. But then my sister just kept on saying, there's red flags. These are the red flags. Like, I don't think I can be friends with her. But the moment that I think I knew that she's not really like somebody that, you'd call a genuine friend was, I had an event. I was a speaker for a museum that was opening in Somalia, and I was one of the speakers there at the event. And I had told her, like, you know, like, I'd love you to be there as well, because all my friends are going to be there. And obviously you're very close to me and Nemo, so it'd be nice to have you there as well. And she was like, I'd be there, don't worry. But, you know, she went, like, I don't want to talk about her business, but she went to go and do something else. And then she was intoxicated, and she was like, but I can come. And I was like, no, like, don't come. Like, that's really going to embarrass me. Like, there's a lot of like Somali people, there's a lot of Muslim people here, and I don't want you to be at an event that means a lot to me, and you're intoxicated. That would really ruin my day.
And that's not judging her for her lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's her
like,
choices.
You knew
don't
this
bring
was
it
the
to
day.
my, don't bring it to my door.
And it's like, you knew the event had invited you, and obviously it was, you know, when I was Miss World, like, at the time, like, it was just when I became Miss World Somalia, and you knew this event, and like, you know, being Miss World Somalia was something, you've seen me work very hard towards this title. So, you know, me inviting to this event, it meant a lot to me. But the fact that, you know, you couldn't make it because you was intoxicated, and I even told you, you know, like, it's okay, don't come. Like, I'd rather you be there when you're not intoxicated than to be there and like you don't know what's going on. But that's kind of like when I knew, like, no, she's not my type of friend. But, you know, if my sister still remains to be friends with her, then, you know, that's her choice. I'm not going to be like in between them. But my sister, like, you know, she noticed the red flags, and then recently, like, that's when we kind of cut ties with her. You know, like, the red flags just kind of like built up, and I was like, yeah, I think this is it. Like, sometimes I need to look at the red flags. Like, when you look at red flags in a relationship, I think you should have those red flags and look out for them as well when it comes to friendships.
Of course. And I think, like, as girls, we always want to be people pleasers, especially if you've got a good heart. Like, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and like, if somebody's upset me as a friend or whatever, regardless of the confrontation, I will still support that person. But sometimes you've got to think about yourself. And Johnny Bravo says it to me all the time. He goes, people use and abuse you.
People use and abuse.
And I'm like, that really like hits hard with me, because it's like, what have I ever done to you? Like, even like my mom, Susan, we called her on the podcast. She's like, what are the type of people that you attract? She was like, Zaynab, like, you know, you're always trying to help somebody, but they'll do their own thing, or, you know, they're quick to just stab you in the back or have no respect for you. I have a lot of respect for the people around me. Like, you know, me yourself.
Even like, you know, when your parents say like, who you're friends with are a reflection of you.
Of course.
And this is like, my partner kind of like, he gave me hints. He was like, you know, like, who are you friends with? Like, you know, do you know your friends? And I felt like that was like a hint, because it's true. Like, when your friends don't have a great reputation, but you're a great person, people are going to automatically think and associate you with them and think you do the same things as them. So that's why I think it's really important that, like, you surround yourself with friends that have the same values and the same morals as you, and you're not just mixing with anyone.
Of course, because sometimes we can just be too overly friendly and allow everybody access to our life, or to allow them to sit at our table. When in actual fact, you've got to sit down, like you just said, and say, your values don't align with my values.
And that's totally fine. Maybe you're at a different point in your life. It's okay. But, you know, like, just you protect your character. You know, if you're completely different to that person, then I think you should just, like, you know, distance yourself from them and like go find your own friends. Because I feel like we're on this path, and like we're all on a different journey, and we find like ourselves within like different timings, not at the same time.
Yeah, like, again, like, obviously I spoke about this on my own platform aside from podcast, and I did a little thing where we say, like, it's okay to outgrow friendships. That doesn't mean that I didn't love you once, or I didn't see you as such a great friend, but your values and your timing doesn't align with me anymore. Your priorities might be, you're a mom now and you have children, and our dynamic has changed. Does that make sense? Or I might be evolving in business, whereas if you're settled in your home life, but then don't get me wrong, I have friends that I've known for years and years and years, but I haven't seen them for like 2 years. But when I do see them, we pick up where we last left off, because we have no expectations. But I feel like sometimes in friendships, girls can be toxic as well. It's not just males.
Very toxic.
They can have this expectation that you have to be available, you have to do this, you have to do that for me, when in actual fact, no. Like, if I want to do it, I do it off my own back. You shouldn't expect that from me.
You shouldn't.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's the same. That's why I always say, like, you know, we seem to focus so much on like the red flags in relationships, but we forget the ones in friendships too. It's the same thing.
Of
Like
course.
have the same boundaries for both.
I just feel like alhamdulillah, I'm that type of person, right? It's like I don't hold grudges. I'm not immature. I don't need to remove you from my socials.
Yeah.
You're there. You're a chapter in my life, and I still have respect for you. And if we met on the street or whatever, I'd be civil. I'd say hi. But some girls are so salty, like when it comes to friendships and stuff like that.
Even with my sister, with the girl that I was talking about, like
Yeah.
that we were previously friends with, even this week, like I gave Nima like this advice. I'm like, you know, you might be hurt about like, you know, how things ended, but for like for the friendship that you guys built, I feel like you should have enough respect and like, because she's valued that friendship and that friend meant a lot to her. I said maybe you should do a sit down with her and like, you know, closure from both of you, like, you know, express how you both feel, and explain where you both went wrong, and like if you have to apologize to one another, do it. But I was the one that advised her to actually have that conversation with her, like whether it's over the phone or you invite her for a coffee and you guys sit down. And she did. She did it on the same day. She's like, I'll text her now. And then she texted her that, you know, she came over. They sat down in the coffee shop and, you know, I was sat somewhere else. And they were talking about it. They talked everything. And so it felt like it made things a lot better, because now she's going to walk away and think, oh, like, you know, there's no sort of like...
There's no bitterness.
Yeah, there's no bitterness.
Like even you
they
on the
can walk
podcast.
past
Yeah.
each other and still say
So,
hi.
yeah, like now me and you talking about it on the podcast, you're not bad mouthing this particular girl that was in your life. You're just saying that your values don't align anymore, and you know, maybe some expectations that happened with your sister and the other girl, like, you know, you didn't agree with, but you didn't get involved with that, but you still respect that person.
I still respect.
We're human.
I feel like you also have to remind your friends as well. If you even feel like, oh, you know, your friend's telling you about somebody that she was very close with and she fell out. Like, I feel like you should always advise them to just be like, okay, well, that's fine. Like, if you guys don't see things eye to eye or you outgrew one another. But I feel like if that friendship meant a lot to you at some point in your life and you've invested a lot of time in that person, like, have, you know, some sort of like respect for that friendship and decency, and just sit down with that person and like just give, like, maybe because, you know, the other person don't understand, like with her, she still, you know, came there and like thought, you know, maybe we can like move past this and go back to how it was, you know. Whereas my sister explained it to her, like, you know, like, it's, this friendship is no longer for me, it doesn't serve me, like, it doesn't serve me any purpose, but, you know, I wish you the best, and it's fine. Like, sometimes things don't work out, relationships don't work out, friendships sometimes don't work out, and it doesn't mean that we need to hate one another. We just need to, like, you know, like,
keep it moving. Your life moves on and her life moves on, and we can be happy for each other from afar. And I think that's, with me, I can resonate with that 100%, because I don't think I've really ever come across before where I've had conflict with friendships, and I'm 31. So when it did happen for me, it was a bit more like, whoa, like, am I a bad person? I thought, no, why are you victimizing yourself, Zaynab? Like, all you've done is help this person. Business is business and friendships are friendships. Exactly. And if you're an adult, you can comprehend that. If you've never done business before and you don't know that, like, you can't distinguish between a relationship and a business, that's your problem. But I'm adult enough to know that if things haven't worked for whatever reason, that's got nothing to do with me. It's not my business.
It's also like just to do with your character as well. Like, how you was raised. Like, you know, you don't need to be mean to everyone. Like, kindness was taught to me in my household, and of course I don't just, and
kindness doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't.
Do you know what I mean? So basically, guys, Zay put up a post just to say that she was filming something and if the viewers wanted to know anything, so she's going to try and cover as many as she can, but we have got a bit of a time constraint, so she might just pick a few.
Will you consider returning to your homeland?
Oh, that's an interesting one. When was the last time you went back to your homeland?
2020, I think. Yeah.
Do you have any family members still there?
Yeah. All my a fun fact, actually, all my family live back home. Okay. The only family that live in the UK are just my parents and my siblings. That's it. Just immediate. So it's just family. You guys, the ones that came to the UK. I don't have like any aunties or any uncles, any cousins. No one here.
Oh, that's crazy. But you keep in contact, right?
Yeah, here and then we do. Sometimes, yeah. Aunties, especially from my mum's side of the family, yeah.
Which is cute. Would you ever consider going back home then?
I would. I definitely would. I am planning to do a few campaigns back home in Somalia, especially with my foundation. But like in terms of like returning back and living there, I'm not sure. Like,
I think are you too used to your UK lifestyle?
no, I don't think I could see myself living in the UK either. Like, I feel like I feel like I'm still young and I just want to travel. Like, I want to see, I want to find my forever home.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So like, I just want to keep traveling, and then I will know when I find my forever home. But it definitely will not be the UK. And in terms of Somalia, like, I feel like I want to go back there, see family, spend, maybe like a few months there, but like, no, not
Not
live
long
forever.
term.
Yeah. I
Okay.
feel like a lot of things need to change.
Of course.
A lot of
Yeah.
things. It still needs a lot of like
Work.
developing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything else you got asked?
Somebody asked, will anything ever come out of our land, Somalia, because we are the potential? I think they mean, because when you think of Somalia, like, they don't put the good news in, like, they don't put it out there. When you think of Somalia, when you hear about Somalia, it's always something bad.
Negative, yeah.
And I think that's what the person's trying to ask, like, is something that's good, like,
Ever
going
gonna
to come out
out?
of Somalia, which, they will. Like, I feel like, Somalia is still, like, not where it needs to be. They're still developing, I understand they have their own issues, but
It's evolved so
yeah,
much already.
Yeah, already, yeah. And I feel like it's a country that's been through a lot, through war. Like, a lot of families, like, flee Somalia, like, due to the conflict, due to the civil war that happened. So it definitely needs, like, a lot of developing, but within time, I feel like it will.
Yeah. I mean, there's never say never.
Yeah, never say never, definitely. I wish I had screenshot all the other questions.
No, it's okay.
A lot of them are just kind of like comments are pretty beautiful, things like that. That's it. Yeah, and just like, are you single? Are you single? Are you beautiful? Like, just
Wow,
a
you're
lot
not
of
single.
girls. Yeah,
girls, because girls want to know. They're like,
a lot of my followers actually do ask me that all the time. Anytime I do like a little poll, like, ask me questions. Oh, are you single? Like, I'm like, I thought you was going to ask me, like, what have I been getting up to?
Yeah.
But no, I'm not single.
She's off the market.
Off the market for good.
But like, I'm so happy that you've been so open about speaking about that as well.
Yeah,
Because obviously it is such a big thing as someone that's Muslim to come here.
I definitely wanted to keep it private, but I feel
Evil
like
Eye. Hang on, Evil Eye is real.
It is very.
I did
real.
a little short clip on that, and it went viral on TikTok.
It's
very real. But we'll quickly move on to the favourite bit of the podcast that
dilemmas.
people like, the
Oh,
dilemmas.
yes.
So the first one that I got sent in was, I'm engaged to someone my family loves, but I'm starting to realise we have nothing in common. I don't want to embarrass myself I don't want to embarrass my family by backing out, but do I go through with a marriage that I'm unsure about? Sounds like an arranged marriage to me.
Yeah, definitely sounds like an arranged marriage. No, I feel like don't throw your life away. Unless you meet your person, don't.
And I think for girls, especially with our culture, your culture and my culture is quite similar, but with being Muslim as well, it's very much
as well.
Yeah,
maybe like, because sometimes a lot of girls feel like they're running out of time, or there's like an expiration
So
date.
I spoke about this, right? I said that your 30s, woman to woman, your 30s aren't late, okay? This is the time where you're blooming, where, you don't settle for less. Yes. I accidentally said settle for less, but I meant don't settle for less. So you don't settle for less. You start to realise what really matters in life. Yeah. And, you pick what you want because you've evolved. You've become a different character in your 30s. I think that's the best part of your life. But this guy in the comments was like, she's the shaitan. Women are expired at 30. And I just think
I've heard that. I heard that you apparently the expiry date is 22.
It's ridiculous.
I was like, oh, I am definitely expired then. Like,
I'm rotting on the shelf right now.
When you're expired now, because it's like, why is there an expiration date on women? Like, why? I don't understand.
But that's I think this is unfortunately some people's outlook on life and where they tie in religion. And in actual fact, yes, marriage is a blessing and God encourages us to get married and, do things in a halal way. But does that mean you just settle for something for the sake of it? No, everything's written. Everything's written. And some people actually might be really struggling struggling to find their person when they hit 30.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
like they might have been through something really traumatic or might not have anyone approaching them.
Yeah.
So you don't see the struggles that women do face.
But I do see a lot of women too. Like I've seen a lot of women who are in their 30s and they've just now got married. And honestly, like there was this one specific girl, everybody was like kind of age shaming her. Oh, like, you know, you're so old, you need to go get married. And she didn't settle. She didn't like, you know, let that pressure her and think, oh, you know, she's getting old now, she needs to get married. She found her person in her 30s, and, you know, she said she's so happy that it happened in this time, like in where she's at in her life, because, you know, he's the right person. And, you know, she's now having, like, I think they have children, and like she's just so happy. Whereas if she had, you know, decided to settle with someone in her 20s, she would have probably got divorced. And then
and this is the problem.
go through that, like,
this
you
is
know,
the problem.
pain.
A lot of Muslims, even in general, not even Muslims, but a lot of people are getting divorced because these young couples are being encouraged, you know, do the halal way, which I'm not sitting on the podcast telling people go and have haram relationships, before we get bashed. But what I'm trying to say
it's okay to date somebody and get to know them. You don't need to, like, it takes time to get to know someone.
Like, you're gonna have to get to know someone to marry them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you should be God conscious and doing it in the right way, okay? And that's on you. But what I'm trying to say is like, why are we pressuring all these young people to go and just get married when 2 months later they're getting divorced? Because they're not compatible for one another, because they're being forced, like this viewer that's written into us by saying...
I've had actually a makeup artist do my makeup, and she said to me, she was like, oh, I have a bride coming up this weekend. And she was like, oh, this is the second time I'm doing her makeup. I was like, oh, like, as in, is where she's going now. She was like, I did her makeup, like her wedding makeup 6 months ago, and then she's doing it again. And I was like, oh, is she a bridesmaid this time? She's like, no, she's the actual bride again. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
This is it. Like, I think people's outlook on women is so disgusting. Like that comment for me where I put up that reel, and the only reason I had to take down the reel because I accidentally edited it and cut out the bit where it says don't settle for less. So I said settle for less, and I was thinking keyboard warriors just coming in the comments. I can't be asked for it. But when I seen that one comment where this guy was like, she is the shaitan, basically talking about me, saying, you know, I'm pushing women to say that it's okay that, you know, like in your 30s to get married. No, I'm saying everybody's timeline is different, and there's no rush for it. Yes, that's the ending and that's the end goal, but if you're doing things in the right way, it will come when God wants it to come for you. It shouldn't be a thing that's forced on you, and then you're in a situation like this girl that's wrote into us,
where she just feels a bit pressured and just kind of like out of line with the person.
Of
like,
course. So to round about, what do you think, like my advice personally would be to be open?
I would definitely think about it, and I would always say follow your heart. Like, just follow your heart.
And have them difficult conversations with your parents. I know obviously
it might be uncomfortable, but sometimes it's okay to have those uncomfortable conversations, because it saves you in the long run.
Of course. Okay, so there was another one. So my husband and I live with his parents. I recently discovered he's renting another flat for work trips, except I found women's things there. He says I'm overreacting and being disrespectful for even checking.
Sorry, he what? Rent?
So her husband and herself live with their parents. She lives with her in-laws at the moment, and she's recently discovered that basically her husband has got another flat, but apparently he said it's for work trips. So
what does he do? Oh, she didn't say what
no, she didn't say. So she basically said that she's found out that her husband's got this flat, this condo, and he's basically said, oh yeah, that's for work trips, but she's found women's things there. So he said, well, you're overstepping by going in and overreacting and being disrespectful for going through his personal space. She said, I feel betrayed but scared to confront him because divorce will shame my family. Do I expose him or do I keep the peace? Girl, I'm sorry.
He's crazy. He's crazy. Oh my God. Like, how can you tell somebody that you're overreacting when there is clear evidence in front?
And you're married.
In your eyes. Like, that's crazy.
But this is it. This is how, like, some men belittle women so much to make them feel like they're the problem.
And
gaslighting and avoiding the situation instead of taking accountability and being like, look at the root cause, like, are you not happy in your marriage? Like, is it something else that's going on? Instead of taking accountability and being like, yeah, I'm doing wrong, let's have a conversation about this. He's basically putting the blame on her and making her the bad person by saying you're disrespectful for overstepping your mark. What do you mean overstepping your mark?
Projecting.
That's
Yeah, he's definitely just projecting. But I feel like she should definitely did she say she wanted to tell
She said, should I speak to him and like blow it up basically?
tell
Or will
his
that
family?
or will that bring shame to my family? I think you need to speak to your family about
I
it.
think you should definitely speak to your family about it, because you don't want to be with somebody like that. And they have kids together as well, so you don't want your kids to grow up and see you like. Does she have kids?
No, she didn't say she had kids.
She doesn't have kids.
No,
but
she
even
said
if, like, say they do have kids, like, it's not.
yeah, you don't want
No,
that to be the
yeah,
father of your
yeah.
kids. Like, that's not a role model.
No.
But even then, forget about the kids. You don't want a husband like that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, once you've crossed my boundary, that's it, you're out. I can't trust you again.
Cheating is definitely like something where you leave.
It's
like,
fine
you leave.
line.
Yeah, it's
and
fine
it's so
line.
hard, and I get it, like some people stay because of kids and whatever and blah blah, but I just think no, like don't do that to yourself,
Yeah.
because in the long run it just becomes toxic.
Yeah,
It
I feel like
comes
there's
really
always
toxic.
something better in life. Like, cheating just should be the line where you cut it and you move on with your life. I feel like just wish them the best and just move on.
See you later.
See you later. The next.
And then the last one that we got sent in is, I started a small beauty page that's now growing fast. My fiance's mother called me haram for posting my face online and demanding I shut it down before my wedding. My fiance is now saying that he agrees with her. Do I end the page that gives me my purpose, or do I call off the engagement?
Well, you found your purpose, so I don't think he serves you any purpose anymore. So I definitely
Savage.
I think definitely follow your heart. And like you said, she said she found her purpose, and the fact that the family are already acting like that, I feel like this is God saving her. Like, this is a clear sign, and I feel like it's God saving you before you do get into that marriage. Because I can only imagine, like, what else they can be very strict about. Like, what if she finds a hobby and they judge her for it, and you know, that's something that makes her happy. So I feel like they're definitely, like, he's not the right person for her.
And you know, people always say, oh yeah, but whatever and blah blah. Like, look at me now as a pure example. I'm a hijabi, I'm married. Johnny Bravo is so supportive of me being out there. He'll literally be like to me, oh, are you doing your eyebrows? Like, I do this, I do that.
Yeah,
Like, he wants me to look the best. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't care. He's not insecure. He's secure in himself, and he's secure in his marriage. Even me, like being on TikTok. I started TikTok. I'm not really good at TikTok. So I started it recently, and guys are already sliding in my DMs. It's going to happen. But we're very open and honest about it. We just laugh about it. Like, I'm like, someone actually slid in my DMs and was like, oh my God, like, I recognize you from my gym, and actually put my whole gym name. And then I told, like, Johnny Bravo, and if that was any other man, they'd probably feel really insecure and be like, oh my God, you're not going to that gym again. And he was like, oh, just laughing about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he loves me any less or respects me any less. No, he puts me on a pedestal, like, constantly. Like, I'm number one priority. But I just think it's about having them conversations in your relationship. So, like, if she's found her passion and she feels like public speaking or influencing or whatever, because I feel like people think influencing isn't a job, when nowadays it is very much a job.
Yeah.
Everything is social media.
Everything is
People
social
book
media.
through social media. People advertise through social media. Big companies, like, you know, like big well-established designers are using social media. That's the world that we live in, unfortunately. So it's kind of like you said, it's getting to grips with being comfortable with your partner in one aspect. Because what if she starts liking these other things that he doesn't like,
and he doesn't like,
and the mother-in-law's getting involved in it?
Yeah, you don't want to, like, get into that marriage or relationship, and then you, like, it's too late then. Like, you know, now it's the perfect time, you know,
to think about what you want.
about it and think, oh, like, you know, what gives you more happiness? Is it him or, like, your purpose? Like, what is it that you really
of course.
like?
And I think some viewers watching it will be like, oh, this is stupid. They're giving advice and saying call off a marriage over social media. No, I'm not saying that. I think what we're both mutually saying is that she's found a passion that she likes.
No.
She shouldn't have to change who she is for a man. There should be a mutual understanding where she doesn't cross certain boundaries. Like, for me, for example, I don't reply to DMs or guys.
Because she'll just think of, like, I feel like in the future she'll regret, and she'll regret the fact that she changed, but she'll hate why she did it and how she did it. And you'd rather not live with that regret. Like, you want to just, you know, achieve everything that you want to do in your life, you know, whatever it is that makes you happy and, like, serves you. Go for that. And if the person that you're with and the person that you're supposed to be getting married to is stopping you from, like, finding your passion, and like instead of supporting you, they're kind of like, you know,
Holding you back.
then they're not really the person for you.
No,
That's
of
not
course,
your person.
of course. I agree with that. We are an injectables pod,
Yeah.
okay? You don't need to be very open about things that you've been through yourself, but what is your view on injectables, aesthetics, things like that?
I always say just let people be. Like if like especially with girls, if, you know, getting Botox or getting fillers or like, you know, getting your eyebrows done, whatever it is that makes you feel good about yourself and gives you confidence, like I feel like just do
Embrace
it. Like
yeah.
embrace it and go for it. Like don't let other people's opinion like stop you from like looking your best or feeling your best, because, you know, you'll regret it. Like you don't want to live and please other people and think, oh, this is wrong, and just do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Always put you
And that
first.
is a big thing, because obviously with you yourself being like beauty pageants and stuff like that, obviously people look at you and they'll probably judge, oh, but she's not real. Oh, but she's had this done. Oh, she's had that done. But in actual fact, with aesthetics, with injectables, it's becoming the norm.
Yeah, it's
Males are
becoming
getting
the norm.
injectables done, and it's very normal because the world has evolved. It's not so much a taboo subject anymore. And like you said, whatever makes you happy, like we're all going to our own grave.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever it is that makes you happy. And like I've done research, like fillers are not that bad when you look into it. It's something that's temporary, and it's something that's already in your body.
Hyaluronic acid,
It's already in your body, so there's nothing that's going in your body that shouldn't be going in there. So yeah, I feel like people judge too much, or, you know, they think that you want to look completely different. Sometimes it's just like making little changes or making little enhancements to yourself that make you feel good about yourself. And if it does that for somebody else, then don't be the person that judges them or thinks like, you know, you don't look great. Like, you know, like...
And 9 times out of 10, I don't know if you share this thought with me, but I think 9 times out of 10, it's always the girls that are dying to get stuff done to their faces that have a negative outlook on other people who are doing it. And it's kind of like, it's just because you want to go and put injectables in your face, but you're too scared to, or you're not allowed to, or you live in a household where you wouldn't get away with it.
Yeah.
You project all that negativity on somebody who's so open and is allowed to do what she wants to her face.
Exactly. That's what I always thought. I was like, just let people be. Let them do what makes them happy. You know, if you want to change your face, if you want to change your body, if there's something about yourself that you want to change, go and make that change.
So just a quick thing, just a bit different. So we're going to do this or that, okay? Or this or this, this or that. So out of injectable treatments, would you rather have tear trough filler or cheek filler?
What's tear trough?
Okay, you don't know which one?
No, what is it? Explain it to me. What is it?
So tear trough filler is basically under your tear trough here. So it's under your eyes. So it basically rejuvenates your under eye area. It's basically got filler in it as well. So it can replenish hollowness. So say if people have a lot of hollowness, it doesn't change it doesn't change your hyperpigmentation.
I was going to say, if it was that, then yeah, because I don't get enough sleep and I always have really bad eye bags. So if that teardrop, whatever thing helps, give it to me.
So yeah, you do tear trough over cheek. I feel like your cheeks are very high anyway. You don't need any cheek filler.
Definitely the teardrop. I definitely, like, my eye bag recently has been very bad, but
they've been bagging.
Why. Yeah, like the eye bags have been hit.
Okay. What about lip filler or chin filler? Lips. Why?
Yeah. I feel like everybody wants that fuller lip look now.
What's one treatment you would never do? It could be like, even like, have you seen like lemon bottle, or they have like
But lemon bottles, I heard, is very natural and it's good for your face. It just takes, what does it do again?
So lemon bottle is like a lipolytic solution. It's basically like fat dissolving, it's meant to be. But there's difference of opinion on lemon bottle. I won't go into it.
Yeah.
But there's difference of opinion with lemon bottle. But what's one treatment that you would think, I would never do that to my face?
Ooh, that...
PDO threads. The threads.
Yes. The threads. Oh my gosh. After you explained it to me, and after like
Okay, bit of context. She was in a different country. I was
Yes.
in the gym doing a workout. She called me. She was like, you're the only person I trust. This clinic's telling me I should do this. Shall I do it? And I was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I was like, when you explained it to me, I was like, that it's crazy. Like, oh my gosh, I would have probably died.
She was in the middle of nowhere. Which country was you in at the time? Was it the Philippines?
No, I was in Vietnam. Yeah, I was
in Vietnam.
And they love to do things like that there. But I remember I just went to that clinic because I was breaking out a lot. So I had like really bad acne. And I think when I fly to other countries and like I wash my face, like
You're very sensitive.
I always break out. So I went to them and then I was like, can I have some facials? And then they were like, oh, like we have these offers, this and this. And then that's when I called you. I was like, they're saying this. Do you think I should do it? I'm like, I was so confused.
She was in a different country. I'm at the gym. She's texting me and then she's calling me and I'm like, Zay, just chill. Just don't do anything to your face. You're beautiful as you are. You do not need PDO threats. Where they literally put incisions in here and they pull up. So basically, like your eyebrows, all this area here is very arched. But yeah, you
it's
do
really
not need
bad,
it.
isn't it? After you told me, I was like, yeah, that's something I would never do now. Never. I don't even know. Like the thing is, I think it's because I wasn't educated about it. I didn't.
Of course.
They didn't tell me anything.
But this
like,
is it. A lot of practitioners are going to push things on you without education.
Yeah.
And you'll see the end result and think, oh my God, that looks amazing. Should I do it? When in actual fact, they just want to sail out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Whereas if you don't necessarily need that, you need
need
honest, ethical advice. But I'm so glad you called me.
I know. I'm so glad. I knew it. I was like, something told me no. I was like,
Seems a bit fishy.
yeah, seems a bit too.
But it's been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's okay. It's a pleasure.
And we appreciate you opening up about your own personal experience. So guys, don't forget to like, rate, rate, comment, share and subscribe. And we'll see you for the next episode.
See ya.